Hey guys, this is Bruce and welcome to ConvoCourses podcast. This is a mini podcast. I won't be talking for too long on this one. I'm going to focus on one topic, answering questions that I get from different emails I get, different comments. Today, I'm going to focus on a comment that I got from YouTube. Before I get started, you should know that if you want to join this community, if you want to ask me questions and actually get things like free job opportunities and from time to time I'll send out free books and stuff like that. Join me at ConvoCourses.com and sign up for the newsletter, or you can actually just sign up for free stuff. So let's get into this. So I'm answering a question today coming from a vet who's asking, I just got out of the military and currently working as a network engineer for a government site. And I would like to pivot to cybersecurity realm, seeing how I have a Security Plus certification. Congratulations. He's had it since 2017. And I would love to pick your brain. Okay, this is great. So this is fantastic. So you actually have an advantage over most people if you're in this field, if you're already working this and you're actually specialized already in networking. And one of the things is that networking has a special connection to cybersecurity in that cybersecurity has to have, you've got to kind of be multidisciplinary. You typically have to know more than one thing with network security or with cybersecurity. And just like network security, both of those require that you know a little bit of everything. And the difference is at networking, you've gone deep into one thing already. So what I mean is, for example, you have to know how to network not only switches and routers, but you also have to know how to connect endpoint devices like desktops and laptops, but also servers and other devices to the network, which requires you to know a little bit about those pieces and those devices. So in the same way, a cybersecurity person has to know a little bit about not just servers, but endpoint devices and also other devices to make sure that they can be secure. You have to know a little bit about each one of those and a little bit about the network and stuff. So you already have some experience that will allow you to very quickly pivot into cybersecurity. So I've already left you an answer here, but what I'm going to do is explain in greater detail about these things. So, and one thing you can do right off the bat is get a CCNA. If you happen to be proficient in that particular device and Cisco devices, and you already have an entry-level Cisco certification, then I would recommend a CCNA, which is CCNA Security, as a specialization in CCNA. I'm going to tell you some other options that you can do as well. But right now, I wanted to show you why I recommend this. So if you already do networking, you can do an entry-level certification called the CCENT. I believe they just recently renamed their entry-level certification, and I don't recall from the top of my head what they're calling it now, but this is the old one, CCENT, or Certified Cisco entry-level position, entry-level certification. I believe that's what it's for. And the new one, let me see if I can Google the new name for this. It's CCENT replaced with, it's replaced with something called, it's an entry-level certification. Replaced, know some of you guys know what this is. I can't remember what it is. CC Cisco entry-level cert. It is called I'm only seeing CCENT, but I know that they very recently are replacing this with another certification. Maybe it's not even out yet. It could be that new. Cisco Certified Technician. I did find it. This is the new name of it. So this is one thing you can do for your path, is do a Cisco Certified Technician certification. I believe this is the one that replaces the CCENT. So anyway, this thing's a little bit outdated. So it should be CCT. I guess that's what they're going to call it. Anyway, from here, you go into a CCNA, not easy certifications, but they have a specialization in security. You go CCNA security, and that right there gets you right in the door. And the reason why I suggested this is because you already have networking experience, and for you to specialize in networking security would open up a lot of doors to where there's organizations that are looking for your skill set already. So I'm just suggesting maybe you build on top of the skill set you already have by focusing in on the security aspects of networking, rather than trying to go into this other field. But I'm going to give you many different options. That's just one of them, is to specialize in networking security, where you would learn things like how to secure network routers, Cisco routers or Juniper routers, or go into Palo Alto firewalls and routers. Your skill set already lends itself to going into the specializing in that area. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing that I would recommend that you can do is enhance your resume. This is another thing that right out the gate is going to really help you out. And the things that you would want to put on your resume are these things. A lot of times in cybersecurity, people focus entirely on just, can you hack? Do you know how to program? Like pen testing. But there's many different aspects of cybersecurity. So what I'm showing you right here is something called, these are the best security practices that are coming from a security framework called the CIS Controls. And these focus on critical security controls that every organization should have. And so if you've ever done inventory for hardware, inventory for software, these are part of cybersecurity. If you've ever done data protection, that's like encrypting data that's in transit or data at rest. If you've ever done access control management, account control management, where you're creating accounts and making sure that they have authentication, proper authentication, where it's multi-factor or username, password. If you've ever done secure configurations on a network, if you've ever done continuous monitoring, vulnerability management, or vulnerability management itself, where you're helping the organization to secure different vulnerabilities that are found. If you've ever ran scans, if you've ever done audit logs, like looking at the logs or making sure that seeing if there's any anomalies in the audit logs. If you've ever done any of these things that you see on this list here, you need to put that on your resume. And the reason why is because these are the things organizations are looking for when they're looking for cybersecurity people. They're not just looking for hackers. They're not just looking for pen testers. They're not just looking for people who know how to use Nmap or Kali Linux or something like that. That is a small sliver of all of cybersecurity, or sometimes they just call it information security or information assurance. There's many different names for it, but I just call it, just to be easier, cybersecurity as a whole, also known as GRC, blah, blah, blah. There's many different names for it, but cybersecurity. So if you put this stuff on your resume, if you've done any of these things in your career, including, I'll show the list again. Other things include training. If you've ever trained people on your team to do basic cybersecurity awareness, if you've done it yourself, if you've done incident responses, the router went down and you think it's because of denial of service attack, and you was a part of that incident response team, put that on your resume. If you've done actual pen testing, put that on your resume. If you've done network infrastructure management, which it sounds like you have, that's part of network security. You just need to word it in such a way and make your resume in such a way that it lends itself to being found by these people, by people who are looking for you, if you happen to want to get into this field. So let me show you something else. This is my resume, and it's got ATS style resume. If you want a copy of this, I give a free copy of my resume out there right now. If you go to ConvoCourses.com, you find the free resume downloads, and it's there. You have to pay for anything. But here it is. This is how the style that they want you to put it in. It's not, one thing you want to do is not only put it in this ATS style, but the way you word it is also very important. What you'll notice about my resume, and this is a very, very updated version of my resume that you're probably going to get like one. It's a little bit dated, but here's my resume right here. The thing to keep in mind is how I'm wording it, because I'm putting all the security stuff I've done up front. Very, very important. Put all the security stuff that you've done in your resume. That's another thing you want to do. And the things that you want to put in your resume are the things I just showed you here. You want to word this stuff into your resume so that they know that you have done cybersecurity stuff before. Let me see. What else did I say in here? ATS style resume, CCNA security, patching vulnerabilities, stuff like that. And then what else? I think I put one more thing in here that you should know. I also recommend maybe doing a CEH, which is a ethical hacking certification. The reason I put it there is because people know what this is. It's a highly sought after certification that nails you to the cybersecurity space. So that's one that you might want to consider after the Security Plus. That'll help you out, and also it'll allow you to be exposed to the cybersecurity hacking side of things. A little bit of exposure to that is going to help you out. And what else did I say here? Oh, another big one is to figure out what type of cybersecurity person you want to be. So there's many different aspects of cybersecurity. It's not just hacking, like I said before. Pen testing, red teaming, CEH, OSCP, those are all terms that are tied into one aspect of cybersecurity, but there's many other types. So there's cybersecurity analysts, who are people who look at logs looking for anomalies, and they are usually part of the incident response team. Another one is actually incident response people, like people who focus on what do we do if there's an incident? How do we secure the system? How do we eradicate this virus from our network? What kinds of things are we going to do to make sure that our organization contains this particular attack? So another one is what I do, which is compliance. That's making sure that the organization is matching up with things like privacy compliance, things like HIPAA compliance, if you happen to be in the health and wellness space. So there's different industry regulations, laws, acts that the organization needs to be in line with, and that's a part of cybersecurity. Now, some people say, well, they split hairs, say, well, it's not cybersecurity, it's information security, it's GRC. Okay, whatever. Call it what you want. Like, let's not waste time here. So that's another aspect of cybersecurity. That's what I'm trying to get at. Another one would be actually network security is a whole field in and of itself. So you actually have an advantage over many, many people because you already have experience in networking where you could actually just build on top of what you know and just focus on just network. And another one would be firewall engineer. Like you would very clearly understand firewall administration if you got into it because you've been doing networking so long. You'd understand rules because that's very related to things you've already done in routers and switches, more than likely. Things like filters, port filters, ports, protocol services, controlling how that stuff is done on a system throughout an enterprise. You would understand that. That's what firewalls do. A firewall is like a real fancy router. You know what I mean? Like all it does is just focusing on just blocking ports, protocols, and services with rules. So you would very clearly understand that. So a Palo Alto firewall would be one place that if you focused on that and learned how to do it with your networking background, you could pick that up very, very fast. So there's many different aspects of cybersecurity that you could focus on. You just need to choose a path and go for that. So that's pretty much it. Those are the things that I would advise you to do if you were trying to pivot from network engineering and try to get into cybersecurity. Though all those things are going to help you out, and I wish you the best. I'm going to cut this thing, but if you guys have any questions about this, if you want to join our community, go to ConvoCourses.com. I got tons of free downloadables. I've got stuff that's going to actually teach you compliance. If you're interested in that, it walks you through it. It tells you from the perspective of somebody who's in this field how to do this. This is not just hearsay. This is not just something I did 10 years ago. I'm literally doing this now. That's my job. So if you're interested in that, go to ConvoCourses.com and sign up for the newsletter. I give out free jobs. Opportunities, like they're coming to me all the time. And that's it for this one. I will see